Hello, and welcome to another edition of All or Not According to Jack. Looking over my right shoulder, you see the year 1981. So what does that mean? That means we're going to talk about another in the Formative Years series for the year 1981. I believe I was a junior in high school that year. So what can I say? And forgive me for the fact that I haven't done one of these since, looking back through my notes, I haven't done a Formative Years episode since late April. So I thought it was high time to do one. I'm probably going to be taking some time off next week. It's well needed. A little R&R, but also some work on my second home upstate New York. So I figured I would get this out here for you, and maybe a little more content to hold everybody over for their all or not a fix. So let's have at it. 1981, and granted, these are albums that I'm not mentioning them in any particular order. So you have April Wine, Nature of the Beast, Styx, Paradise Theater. I would go to see them on that tour. Great show that was. Elvis Costello and the Attractions with an album simply entitled Trust. Grace Slick, Welcome to the Wrecking Ball. UFO, The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent. Iron Maiden with their second album, and last with Paul Di'Anno, Killers. Rainbow, Difficult to Cure. Unfortunately, Ronnie James Dio is out of the picture, and forget who it was. Was it? We'll have to find out. I'm back, and again, no commercial interruption. So I had to do a little research. I don't want to be misquoted. So yes, so Rainbow, Difficult to Cure is the first album of Rainbow with the singer Jolene Turner, who I thought did a great job, but kind of took the band in a slightly different, more commercial direction than what we were used to and loved with Ronnie James Dio. Rush, absolute landmark album, Moving Pictures. We're kind of moving slightly away from their proggy sound to a more commercial, I would just say, stadium type sound, but great album nonetheless. Some commercial songs, some deeper tracks, but all great nonetheless. Judas Priest, Point of Entry. I would point out that this was probably my least favorite of their albums when I did my Judas Priest ranking the albums, but there were still some strong cuts on it. And I did miss seeing them in concert that year, although I would have liked to, but I would see them in 1982, thank God. Weird Al Yankovic, another one rides the bus. I actually used to take the bus to school in high school, and my bus driver, freaky woman that she was actually playing this. Another one rides the bus. Silly stuff. Hanoi Rocks, Bangkok Shocks, Saigon Shakes, Hanoi Rocks. Stray Cats, debut album, self-titled debut album. Didn't really know what to think of them, but it wasn't half bad. If you're into that rockabilly kind of thing, Brian Setzer, he plays that hollow body guitar. It's got that nice warm sound, and wasn't bad. I did joke with a friend of mine at the time who was just playing that, basically wearing out his freaking cassette, playing that over and over and over. So I turned to him and I said, this sounds like bar mitzvah music. I still think it does. So Robert Fripp and the League of Gentlemen, he of King Crimson, with a song called The League of Gentlemen. 38 Special, Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, another good album. Spandau Ballet, Journeys to Glory. Joe Walsh with an aptly titled album, There Goes the Neighborhood. Accept, Breaker. The Who, Face Dances. The Pretenders, extended play. Gillan, namely Ian Gillan, Future Shock. Crocus, with a really good album called Hardware. White Snake, Come and Get It. Billy Squier, Don't Say No. I would see him in a few years, from 1981. Van Halen, Fair Warning, a great album. Love that opening. Yeah, Mean Streak. Goes into Mean Streak. Frank Zappa with the aptly named title Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. Squeeze, East Side Story. The Moody Blues with a great comeback album, Long Distance Voyager. Echo and the Bunnymen, Heaven Up Here. George Harrison, Somewhere in England. Susie and the Banshees, Juju. Psychedelic Furs, Talk, Talk, Talk. Duran Duran, the self-titled first album. Heck, even the Carpenters were still producing albums in 1981. Said that we lost Karen Carpenter about a year or two later, but she did make, her and Richard did make an album called Made in America. From the Carpenters, we go to Motorhead. No Sleep Till Hammersmith. Kim Wilde, she of Kids in America, self-titled first album. Red Rider, As Far as Siam. I think I actually saw them open for the Kinks at Madison Square Garden at about that time. I think that was actually my first concert at Madison Square Garden. It was quite cool. Blue Oyster Cult, Fire of Unknown Origin. The Joe Perry Project, having left Aerosmith. I've got the rock and rolls again. Thompson Twins, Product of Participation. Foreigner 4, great album. The Go-Go's, Beauty and the Beat. Def Leppard, High and Dry. ZZ Top, El Loco. Bryan Adams, You Want It, You Got It. Stevie Nicks, another great album. Belladonna. Debbie Harry, Cuckoo. Journey, Escape. I do not hide my disdain for Journey, but I'm mentioning them. Oh, wow, that's a lot of albums. And I've only gotten halfway through the list, so let's continue on. The B-52s, Party Mix. Pat Benatar, Precious Time. Iron Maiden with a live album called Made in Japan. The Kinks, Give the People What They Want. I mentioned about Red Rider before, but this was the album that the Kinks were touring. The Rolling Stones, Tattoo You. Art Garfunkel, Scissors Cut. Devo, New Traditionalists. Simple Minds, Sons and Fascination. Sister, Feelings Call. Brad Whitford and Derek St. Holmes. Whitford/St. Holmes. I believe Brad Whitford left at Aerosmith at about that time for a short stint in a solo career right around that time as well. Gary Newman, Dance. Billy Joel with a great live album of mixed earlier songs in the attic. That's how I really started to get into Billy. Triumph, Allied Forces, King Crimson, Discipline, Genesis, Abacab. A little known fact about Abacab, it's basically those are the keys or chords that make up that rhythm. A B A C A B. Michael Schenker Group, MSG. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Nine Tonight. Hall & Oates, Private Eyes. Alice Cooper, Special Forces. John Entwistle, The Ox. Too Late, the Hero. The Police, Ghost in the Machine. Saxon, with a great album called Denim and Leather. Blows a lot of these other albums away. Depeche Mode, Speak and Spell. Loverboy, Get Lucky. Prince, Controversy. Eurythmics, In the Garden. In Excess, Under the Colors. Billy Idol, Don't Stop. Jay Giles, Freeze Frame. Another band that I would go see in concert at Madison Square Garden at about that time. Rush, a great live set. Exit Stage Left. Little comedy much, or a quote from one of those cartoons. Exit Stage Left. Bob Marley and the Wailers, Chances Are. Steve Miller Band, Circle of Love. Olivia Newton-John, Let's Get Physical. The Romantics, Strictly Personal. Adam and the Ants, Prince Charming. Black Sabbath, with the Ronnie James Dio era in full swing, with an album called Mob Rules, a great album. The Cars, Shake It Up, shake it up. Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman. Men at Work, with a monumental album, Business as Usual. I Come from a Land Down Under. Kiss, very controversial album. So let's stop and pause for a second. So Kiss, a band that had been my favorite band in the late 70s, and I kind of soured on them after they put that Unmasked, that album that I thought sucked. So what did they do? Ace Frehley wanted them to go back in a hard rock direction. So instead, in their infinite wisdom, they said, oh, let's make a concept album and let's call it Music from the Elder. Very polarizing debate among Kiss fans. So not to change the subject too much, but I'll talk about this more at the end of this episode, but I'm actually planning a ranking of the album. So I'm very curious to see where Music from the Elder lands. I mean, it's got a couple good songs, but nothing compared to early Kiss from their self-titled first album up until Rock and Roll Over. So let's just get that straight. Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. Thin Lizzy, Renegade. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, I Love Rock and Roll. Another monumental album. AC/DC, For Those About to Rock. We Salute You. Soft Cell, Nonstop Erotic Cabaret. Bad Religion, a band that their self-titled first album, I believe. They're a band that my son actually got me to listen to, and you know what? They're not half bad. Very alternative and punkish. But I like that simple kind of sound. Molly Hatchet, Take No Prisoners. The Jimmy Farrar era. And last but not least, former, or I don't know if he was former at this point, but Peter Saterra of Chicago with a self-titled solo album. Notable pop hit songs. Probably this would be right there with the Yacht Rock collection. Dan Fogelberg, leader of the band. Rick James, super freak. She's super freaky. Air Supply, the one that I love. George Benson, Turn Your Love Around. Good song. Def Leppard, Bringing on the Heartbreak. Definitely one of their better songs, I think. Queen and David Bowie, Under Pressure. Phil Collins, I can feel it calling in the air tonight. Why am I singing it? I hated that song back then. A certain college roommate of mine would play the song to death. Billy Joel, Say Goodbye to Hollywood, re-released on that album Songs for in the Attic that Billy Joel would release, and he actually scored a hit with that, the live version. Men at Work, Who Can It Be Now? Another big hit. Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes. I don't get it. She has to have one of the worst female voices I've ever heard. Very gravelly, very grating. What would she do? Swallow some gravel? Don't get it. To another lady with a better sounding voice, Juice Newton, Queen of Hearts. Soft Cell, one of those new wave songs that I really did like when I would hear it in the clubs. Tainted Love, the 8-minute version. Great song. The Human League, Don't You Want Me? Another one of those early clubbing songs. Diesel with a song called Sausalito Summer Nights. Actually, that was a favorite of my wife, Susan. She loved it. Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. I used to work retail, and I was longing for the days that I could quit that and go 9 to 5. And thankfully, around 1989, I did get a job where I can actually go on a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday shift. But being in IT doesn't always work out that way. Eddie Rabbitt, I love a rainy night. Good song. Moody Blues, The Voice, great song. Barry Manilow, still pounding them out with I Made It Through the Rain. Alan Parsons, Games People Play. Judas Priest, my band. Granted, I didn't care for the album Point of Entry, but the first song, Kickoff Track, was a great one, Heading Out to the Highway. That got significant FM airplay. Good song. Stevie Nicks and Don Henley, Leather and Lace. Who knew that they were a thing back then? Grover Washington Jr., Just the Two of Us. Great song. Triumph, Fight the Good Fight, another great song. Kool and the Gang, Celebration. That I remember back, I was a long-suffering Met fan in 1977 through 1982, was it? They were a last place team. Wasn't until mid-83 that they brought in Keith Hernandez and they started to turn things around. But in those infrequent wins, they would actually play Kool and the Gang's Celebration after a win. What, they play it like 20 times in that 5-year period? LOL. Al Jarreau, We're in This Love Together. Boy, I tell you, some really good rhythm and blues songs that in 1981. To a more metal band, in the new wave of British metal, Saxon, and the band Played On. Great tune. Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Great song, Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Kim Wilde, Kids in America. We mentioned that before. Genesis, Abacab. We mentioned that before. Talking Heads. I couldn't tell if they were new wave or rock, maybe a crossover, but I really liked some of their stuff, especially in the song Once in a Lifetime. Quarter Flash, Harden My Heart. Diana Ross and Lionel Richie, Endless Love. I remember seeing that movie, Endless Love, with my dear departed cousin Antonella. God rest her soul. We went and saw that movie in the movie theater. Paul Davis, 65 Love Affair. Neil Diamond, America. So for those with the patriotic spirit for next week. Santana, Winning. Olivia Newton-John, Let's Get Physical. Sure. The Jay Giles Band, Centerfold. Gino Vanelli, Living Inside Myself. Falco, Dirk Kamazar. Another one of those new wave songs that I liked. Oh, here you go. Here's another yacht rock classic for you. Christopher Cross, Arthur's Theme, Best That You Can Do is Fall in Love. The Moody Blues with another great song, Gemini Dream. The Greg Kihn song, the breakup song, slow down. The Greg Kihn Band, the breakup song. They don't write them anymore. Kenny Rogers, Through the Years. Devo, Whip It Good. Squeeze, Tempted by the Fruit of Another. Pat Benatar, Treat Me Right. Blue Oyster Cult, Burning for You. Great FM rock classic of that time. Diana Ross, Why Do Fools Fall in Love. Blondie, The Tide is High. Rainbow, I Surrender. Good song, even though, like I said, they went in a more commercial direction. Vangelis, Chariots of Fire. Wow. So that's our pop hit songs. Now we're going to talk about, wow, multiple pop hit artists. Styx, Rockin' the Paradise, The Best of Times, the Tommy Shore classic, Too Much Time on My Hands, The Who, Another Tricky Day, and You Better You Bet. Steve Winwood, Ark of a Diver, Well, You See a Chance, You Take It. Mario Speedwagon, ugh. Don't Let Him Go, Take It on the Run, Keep on Loving You. I think that was my our what was that, our prom theme song of 1982. I didn't vote for it. Journey, Don't Stop Believing. Stone in Love, Who's Crying Now. Stone in Love, I kind of could deal with that song. AC/DC, For Those About to Rock. Hell's Bells. Sheena Easton with the title, with the song title track of the movie For Your Eyes Only, one of my favorite Bond movies. And Morning Train. My baby takes the morning train. Rolling Stones, Hang Fire, Little TNA. Oh, it is a title. Start Me Up, Waiting on a Friend. They were busy that year. Hall & Oates, I Can't Go for That. Your Kiss is on my list. You making my dreams come true. Do, 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 do. Ronnie Millsap, I Wouldn't Have Missed It for the World. Great song. There's No Getting Over Me. Billy Squire, In the Dark, Lonely as the Night. Great song. The Stroke, I don't care for as much. The Police, they were starting to get really big at this time. Invisible Sun, Spirits in the Material World, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Foreigner, Jukebox Hero, Urgent, Waiting for a Girl Like You. Another one of those prom songs that I don't ever have to hear again. I do like Jukebox Hero and Urgent, though. Good job on those. Daryl Hall and John Oates, Kiss on My List. Oh, I'm sorry. I mentioned them earlier. So here's a couple more for you. Kiss on My List. Oh, I mentioned that already. Jesus. And Private Eyes. I guess my editor was out to lunch that day. Yeah, all this talking makes me my mouth go dry. Rush, Limelight, Red Barchetta, Tom Sawyer. That song's a little played, but still has its, still validated. Good song. Van Halen, Mean Street, great song. So This Is Love, another great song. Unchained, not so much, but okay. The Go-Go's, Our Lips Are Sealed, We Got the Beat, great song. That was the opening song to the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We got the beat. ZZ Top, Pearl Necklace, Tube Snake Boogie, The Stray Cats, Rock This Town, Stray Cat Strut. That's the song that got me thinking, this is a bar mitzvah band. The Cars, Shake It Up, Since You're Gone. John Lennon, Watching the Wheels, Just Like Starting Over. Woman. Last but not least, Loverboy, Working for the Weekend, Turn Me Loose. All right, Grammys of 1981. Album of the Year, John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Double Fantasy. Record of the Year, Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes. Betty Davis Eyes. Song of the Year, Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes. I don't get it. Sorry. I think she sucks, and that song sucks. Don't get it at all. Best New Artist, this I kind of get. Sheena Easton, great voice from Scotland. Best Pop Vocal Performance Female, Lena Horne. Best Pop Vocal Performance Male, Al Jarreau. Best Pop Vocal Performance for a Group, The Manhattan Transfer. Deaths of 1981. Bill Haley of Bill Haley and the Comets. Bob Marley of Bob Marley and the Wailers. Now this one is a very sad one. So I live not too far from Eisenhower Park in Mid-Nassau County, Long Island, New York. And Harry Chapin was supposed to be playing a concert in the summer of '81, a free concert at the band shell at Eisenhower Park, where my wife and I have seen many free concerts over the last 5-10 years. It's a great, wonderful place. It's a grassy hill looking down into the amphitheater. Everybody brings their folding chairs, their blankets, to cover themselves, brings their mosquito repellent, their flasks of wine, their snacks, and whatnot. Just a great atmosphere. And Harry Chapin was supposed to play that night, and very sad to hear that he, on the way to the concert, he actually was killed in a car crash on the LIE, or otherwise known as the Long Island Expressway, further out east, where he was driving a Volkswagen Rabbit, I believe, and he collided with a tractor trailer. So I still remember to this day, my father and I. So I think I went to work with my father that day, because I used to help him in the summer sometimes. He was in the office furniture business. So and he worked in the city. So we drove back to the island. He had to drop a car off because, to a mechanic to leave it overnight for some repairs. And we were just bantering with the mechanic, and we said, yeah, we're thinking of going to see Harry Chapin tonight at Eisenhower. And he's like, oh, he died. I'm like, what? So I guess even then the news got out fast. But yeah, so that really hit home for me. 1981, Harry Chapin. They did honor him many years later. My wife Susan and I did go to that memorial concert, where not only did they dedicate the amphitheater to Harry Chapin, but they also had a whole bunch of local bands come and play his songs that night. It was, very heartwarming to see that. Harry was a very charitable guy, would have fit right in with my Oddfellows and all the nice charitable works that we do. So so around, I'm rambling, I know this, but this hits me right here. He has this he has this food pantry called Long Island Cares, the Harry Chapin Long Island Cares. So every year around Thanksgiving, me and my Oddfellow brothers and I get together and collect non-perishable food in front of supermarkets and donate it to the local pantries. And many times we've worked with Harry Chapin's Long Island Cares. So again, warms my heart. Glad that I can give back, considering all that he did all those years ago. Okay, on to the next topic. New TV shows. Hill Street Blues, Dynasty, The Smurfs, The Fall Guy, The Greatest American Hero, Yuts that he was, Simon and Simon, Falcon Crest, Cagney and Lacey, Give Me a Break, one of those non-funny hormonal TV shows or teen angst or whatever. Entertainment Tonight. Do, 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 do. Movies. Okay, Mommy Dearest. It's funny, my dad and I were just talking about this guy, Mel Brooks, and all the great movies he's ever done. Another funny story. So George, who you've seen, has helped me on many pro wrestling episodes on this channel. So he works at a bar, and they actually had one of those pop-up outdoor theaters this past Sunday night. And what did they play? The Mel Brooks movie Spaceballs. But well, we'll get to that in another few years. But that's one of my favorite movies. Pizza the Hut. Anyway, I digress again. So the movie that we're talking about here is History of the World Part 1. My large brother Mark's always saying, it's good to be the king. Escape from New York. I used to have a coworker who used to call me Jake the Snake Plissken, if you can believe that. So there was a Jake Plissken in this movie. Anyway, or Snake Plissken, whatever. Stripes, Bill Murray, funny movie. Clash of the Titans, Superman 2, Body Heat. We just mentioned For Your Eyes Only. That's probably one of my favorite movies of that year. The Postman Always Rings Twice, Chariots of Fire, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, Absence of Malice, Friday the 13th, Part 2. Another horror movie, Wolfen, right up there with Pete's Thursday Night Show in the Monsters Den. On Golden Pond, trying to build my own on Golden Pond upstate. We're getting there. Porky's, that was a movie I went and saw a few times. Arthur, Dudley Moore, An Eye for an Eye. Take this job and shove it. That's a thing that I used to think to myself over the years. Fortunately, I'm happy with my current job, but other jobs, I had that thought. Raiders of the Lost Ark, another favorite movie of mine in 1981. Time Bandits, another movie that I saw in the theater, was a little less than adequate, but okay. Endless Love, that was a movie I saw with my cousin. Most notable for me was they played I Was Made for Loving You in the soundtrack in that movie. Halloween 2, Omen 3, The Final Conflict, An American Werewolf in London, another probably the best horror movie that I saw that year. Tarzan, sucked balls, terrible, awful, so bad I think it wasn't even rated. Cannonball Run. And the Oscar goes to Chariots of Fire. Do, 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 do. Okay, so my concerts that I went to in 1981. First one I saw was in June of 81. I saw a concert and this concert was probably the farthest I went at the time. So me and a few friends, we took the train to Madison Square Garden, or rather to Penn Station underneath Madison Square Garden. From there, we caught the Amtrak train to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and JFK Stadium, I believe it was. We saw this thing called the Roundup. It was a great festival of Southern rock. You had 38 Special, Molly Hatchet, the Allman Brothers, the Outlaws, and the Marshall Tucker Band. I was very surprised that Marshall Tucker went on last, but maybe the Allman Brothers and the Outlaws wanted them to. Who knew? I think 38 Special and Molly Hatchet were rising in popularity at that time. Allman Brothers were maybe just a little bit past their peak. The Outlaws were peaking at that time, and let me tell you, they got a huge ovation when they played Ghost Riders in the Sky. In addition to Green Grass and High Tides, but I think they were the best well received at that time. I would see Molly Hatchet a second time that summer on the West Side Pier of Manhattan. Actually, a great place to see a show. Wasn't crowded or congested at all. I loved it. Loved that open air atmosphere right on the Hudson River. So it was Molly Hatchet and the Johnny Van Zandt Band at that time. We know Johnny would later, become the lead vocalist of Leonard Skinner. Hopefully someday I'll do a ranking of the albums of Skinner, but not going to lie, that's not going to be easy to do with basically two completely different eras of the band, but we'll see in time. I do know I love Skinner, so that will have to be a future project. Don't know how soon I can get to it. Saw the Kinks in October of 1981. That was the concert that I was talking about with Red Rider opening. That was, what's his name? Ray Davies. He used to like to mess with the crowd. I remember him in the middle of the concert saying, what song does everybody want to hear? And they kept shouting, Lola. Oh, sorry. We're not going to play that song tonight. Everybody booed, and then they went into the opening chords of Lola, 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 Lola. And then for the encore. So after they said their goodbyes or their good nights and they left the stage, about a minute, the house lights came on. Everybody, they're booing, people were kind of pissed off. And then the house lights went back off. And then within about 30 seconds, they came back out and everybody was all happy. And they actually ended up coming out for like 3 or 4 encores that night. So that was I think that was a great first show I saw there. Another band that I mentioned in my top 20 Southern rock songs, the Henry Paul Band. Henry Paul used to be part of the Outlaws until he started his own band. They played at this place called the North Stage in Glen Cove, Long Island. And then, of course, there was, I saw, I think also in the fall of '81 at the Venerable Calderon Concert Hall in Hempstead, New York, which is now a Baptist theater. Also, just a block north of where Sue and I bought our first Honda CRV. We saw Santana, great show, nice intimate setting. So that was the year 1981. So while I have you on, your captive audience, captivated, let's talk about some things that I would like to continue on. Some projects that I'd like to have going on in the future. So the top 3 metal albums by year will be continuing. I'm going to try to get you maybe 1 or 2 every week. It's a little tough, tough schedule, but we'll see how that goes. I do have 1987 in the very immediate future. I'm eventually going to do a ranking the albums of Kiss, like I mentioned. I'd like to do a ranking the albums of Metallica. I'm going to do, so segueing off of the top 3 metal albums by year, I'm going to take the albums that I mentioned of the 1980s, and I'm going to formulate my top 10 metal albums of the 80s. And then I'm going to do that with every decade. So after I do all my 90s episodes, I'm going to do top 10 of the 90s. So that'll be fun. We're going to try a few new things. I may try, since I'm using Zoom for these recordings, I may try to share a screen, make it a little fun that way. All right, so let's looking through, let's see what else I have. On July 13th, Ryan Gavalier, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, he'll tell me. He has a show on July 13th that I'm going to sit in on. It's going to be basically a Judas Priest based show. I look forward to that. Also, sometime in July, I'm going to talk about my top metal bands, similar to the way I talked about my top hard rock bands. I'm going to do a Doors top 15 songs. Let's see. This is a subject that I'm toying with. I have this very funny lodge brother of mine, funny as hell, where we're thinking of coming up with this idea of, and I'm not going to say who, but why we hate certain bands or why he hates certain bands. That may segue into why I hate certain bands, but that's all meant to be taken in, tongue in cheek. We're going to have a little fun with that. So we'll see how it goes. So that's all for now. Jack Toledano, for speaking for All or None according to Jack. One last note, my son Jason, it's his birthday, so a very happy birthday, Jason. I love you, Bubba. You're the best. So again, Jack Toledano, All or None according to Jack. Please write your comments in the comments section. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And, have a great summer, everybody. And I will see you soon. Bye.